So tell us, how did God put on your heart to start Camp Shahana? Tell us a little story about you and your husband.
Well, Arnold and Dan and I worked for, then it was ABMJ, the American Board of Missions to the Jews. And that's where we met Arnold. Actually, we met Arnold first time in 1967 at the World's Fair in New York. He had a table for them. And so working together. And then we both left at the same time. He went his way. We went with Jews for Jesus for a while. And then when we left Jews for Jesus, we were at the airport. Arnold never comes out of the VIP room, but he was walking across the airport. We had no where to go. We were going back to Baltimore, where we were from. And so Dan went over to speak with him, and he said, I'm looking for a couple to run a mission in Baltimore. So that was and we were the first missionaries on staff with Arnold. So that's how we got interested. And then before that, in the 70s, the early 70s, we had taken a whole bunch of kids along the eastern seaboard to witness in the beaches and so on and so forth. And we heard about this, and we said, why don't we take the kids up there and teach them how to be ambassadors for the Lord. So we asked Arnold to come up and speak, and he was the speaker. Of course, it was very primitive at the time, and the kids liked it anyway. And then it wasn't me, but it was Dan that went over and said to Arnold, why don't we make this ever ongoing thing next year? Why don't we just have a 1 week and see how it works out? Well, we had a lot of people come. And so that's how it started. And now it's up to 6 weeks, so this is how it began.
Talk about the acreage and some of the facilities and.
I think, I'm not really sure, I think it's close to 500, but not quite. We own part of that side over here that Mr. Haney, I don't know if anybody's mentioned his name, but he used to own some of the property around. Aunt Rose used to give it away. Like over here, Mary Ann had property and she sold it, I think. But when we came, it only had a few cabins, and everything was deteriorating because nobody really took care of it. It was too much money to take care of it. But we met with Gary and Missy, and they came over and looked over the situation, and the Lord asked them to come. So he has done all what you see. And especially the dining hall was very small. It had we used it for lecture and dining hall. And it had a tin roof, and every time it rained, my husband had a bellowing voice. He had to say everything Arnold said. So that's how it went for there. And it was very small, so you had to clean the tables off and get ready for lectures. So that was interesting. But the important part was we would put couples together that didn't know each other, so we could be matchmakers. And several of these people got married. Some of them got married here, like Wayne and Christiana. Well, it's their third time because they did it in Germany. Then they did it for his parents, and then they did it here. So we have several that they did that.
So they sealed a deal.
Yeah. Then my husband was a matchmaker with them.
That's good. Praise God. How would you describe the vision or the mission or the heartbeat of Ariel Ministries?
Oh, the vision. Well, the whole thing right now is the school. And this is what we need to pray about, because the whole problem is a lot of the foreigners want to come, and they can't come because of visa. And now we're having problems with Canada. They're getting a little more restricted on who's coming over and why you're here and are you paying for it and so on and so forth. So that would be Arnold's biggest thing right now is the vision to have his Bible school up here. And he's not getting any younger, so he wants to get on with it. So that's the biggest thing, I think.
How is the Lord using this ministry to help share the gospel,
All
evangelize?
over the world. Did you meet Pastor Evergreen?
Maybe.
He just came in yesterday. He's the little Chinese man. And he asked if he could be a representative. So we have him in, let's see, New Zealand, that's, Australia, India. We had two fellows come here. Their name was Rubens, but they were Indians. And they both got saved and went back, said, going back to the synagogue and tell everybody. So that was interesting. So we have them all over the world. It's really a wonderful. I said, this is like the real United Nations here this week.
Amen. That's good. So talk about discipleship. What does that mean around here?
Well, some people go into, say, you run into Israel for 2 weeks, or Russia, like we lived in Russia. People would come for 2 weeks and then they go to home. There was no follow-up. They would say, oh, we led so many people to the Lord, but we feel it, and Arnold feels this way too, is that you need to disciple the person right after they get saved, because they can get into trouble with a lot of, cults and stuff. So that's important to follow up right away, and man to man, woman to woman.
Yeah, talk about the good biblical teaching from a Jewish perspective.
From a Jewish perspective. We, as Gentiles in the churches, don't understand the Jewish people. And it's important that we take back to our own churches. Like my church doesn't even support Jewish people, and I'm going to get after them for that. But it's important that you support the Jewish people, and that you sometimes I
That's
what
good.
I'm saying.
That's good. So, yeah, getting involved. How can people get involved and support this ministry? Talk about peer support, financial support, volunteer opportunities, stuff like that. Start off with, there's lots of ways to get involved with Ariel Ministries, and then go from there.
Let's see. I think to get involved, first of all, it's people that come to the camp, go home, and get others involved, and I think that's important. It's word, mouth to mouth, and that's been like I'd say, how did you know to come here? And they usually say, well, somebody told me, or gave me a piece of paper, and it had your name on it. This lady was from China last year, and somebody handed her a piece of paper with Ariel Ministries Camp Shoshana, and she didn't know anything about it, but she stopped by. She was having a photo shot, because she was also into films for China. And she stopped by, and she couldn't get over how wonderful it was to be here. So just a little piece of paper, and so she came back to the school. She was here for a semester, but had to go home. But before she went home, she sent all her books back. And when she sent them back, of course, they look at and they fired her from her job. So it's important that you take back what you learn here, and that helps to bring other people. But the churches are stagnant when it comes to Jewish people, really.
Sharing is caring.
Yes.
Got to share what God shares with you. You share with others, right?
Yes.
It's all shareware.
Shareware. That's a good one. Oh, be careful you don't hurt yourself. You okay?
I thought this would be a better, yeah. Now you can look at me when you talk.
That's good. So why do you do what you do? What kept you involved all these years? And you poured your life, you and your husband poured your life into this. Why?
Because we love people. We had no children, and it's a good thing because we traveled a lot. We've been in many places in Europe to help other people. We worked in Germany. We lived in Kiev. We lived in St. Petersburg. And my husband was an evangelist. I mean, he was really good. He was really good. Many times in the hospital, he had hip problems and certain problems, and nurse and doctor would walk into the room and he'd say, "You just stepped over the line." And they'd say, "What line? There's no line here." "Well, you came in to minister to me. Now how can I minister to you?" So he was a real evangelist. And I miss him. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Love of your life.
He was. He was. But I had to let him go because he was, it's hard on a man. So,
Very good.
but I spread his ashes around the camp.
Yeah.
Second home. So,
That's good. Is there anything else the Lord put on your heart to share with us today?
no, but we're so glad you're here to do this. How does this work now? When you leave here, what will...
Everything you say can and will be used for the glory of God.
Good.
That's our Miranda rights.
That's good. He's got a good sense of humor. I like that.
I want to invite you to take a look at our website, revelationstvseries.org. It's produced by Horizon Media Studios. It's a 501c3 media ministry, and what we're doing is helping other ministries tell their story. Homeless shelters and children's homes, Bible colleges, seminaries, mission sending agencies. With your help, we can continue to help tell their story, to inspire the world, to shine their light, and let God get the glory for the work that's being done in advancing the kingdom of Jesus Christ.